Hello, folks. Liberation greetings to all and sundry. Today is Saturday, and this day is July 15, 2023. And live from the studio, my name, Comrade John Akuro. And my people of Ambazonia, I want to extend salutations to all and sundry, wherever you may be. I particularly want to say a very big shout out to all our people on Ground Zero who have stayed up until this hour to be part of this very important broadcast. I'd like really to say hello to you. Let me also go ahead to acknowledge my brother Buji Antonius. Hello, thank you for joining Johnny Boti. You're welcome. New DXB, I'm acknowledging all of you. Ignatius Comfort, you are welcome to the show. So, as you are joining, share. Let's have as many people as possible come to be part of this very important broadcast today. And I'll just make a quick flash to all our people on ground one and ground two who have also stayed up, and those in Western and Eastern Europe who have also decided that they're going to be part of this very important broadcast. Because, like I said, today we are going to have an opportunity to ask all manners of questions to Comrade Alem, who is going to be in the studio. And of course, we also like to welcome ideas regarding this very important approach that we are proposing towards, raising funds to change the dynamics of this liberation movement, to make sure that all of those who are involved with this liberation movement on ground zero are able to stay safe, are able to protect themselves from the hands of La République du Cameroon. My people of Ambazonia, I said here the last time that the dark platform has proven to be an ideal platform that understands the importance and the principles of transparency, that understands the importance and the principles of, total fairness and the protection, most especially, of the information of all those who use that platform. I'm going to briefly introduce Comrade Alem, and when I do, I will let him take his quick breath while we say one or two things before we get into the beef of this conversation. And for those of you just joining, take note, the phone number to call on will be +240 883 6443. +240 883 6443. And again, this is WhatsApp only. You can send text messages on it. You can call, make WhatsApp calls on this, and you will be right on to this platform to participate. Like every other person, not only to ask questions, contribute ideas, because this is our liberation movement. This is our struggle, and we must all rise to the occasion, take back our liberation movement, and make sure we take back our country from Mr. Paul Biya's talks. So I want to make a quick shout out, Comrade Alem. Can you hear me? Are you somewhere in the
Yes,
vicinity?
Comrade John, I can hear you. Yes, sir, I can hear you. I'm actually
Awesome. Comrade Alem, I can
going
see
from.
that you are driving, and thank you so much for, accepting to be part of this broadcast. I know, obviously in the United States of America, people are always on the move, generally on the move, a lot of things happening at the same time. And so it's really, really easy to, find yourself not be able to be where you wanted to be part of this broadcast. So, one quick word for the people of Ambazonia, Comrade Alem.
Comrades, welcome. For those of you who have stayed up late, again, I would like to send out our apologies on behalf of the DAC team. It was not our intention. They say better late than never. And so we tried to make sure that we put things in place to honor the call from Comrade John Akuru to at least have a chance to be able to speak to our people directly, address some concerns that they may have, and also have a chance to talk about the dark platform, which is truly one of the world's best kept secrets for now.
Thank you very much, Comrade Alem. You are hanging right on. You are not moving. Our people say shake no day. So know that sometimes the questions may even come impeding language, don't worry, we have to address every concern. Yes, I see you, Zephyrin Mba. You say greetings, coverage. Thank you. Johnny Botti, you say, Johnny Botti, no, it's new DXB. You say this is going to be the best initiative after my trip to Boya. Of course, my trip to Boya was a wonderful initiative. And I suppose that we have learned the lessons that I mean, from our experience, from our past difficulties, and so we should be able to leap I mean, in a way that this time we get it right. Our people really want us to get it right because our people want freedom, and the quest for that freedom is so strong that despite some of the tough moments we have faced, the people have continued to stand strong with us. The more reason we must continue to, examine ideas, bring on board ideas that should help change the dynamics of our liberation movement and continue to give our people cause to stay in this liberation movement. I know there are a few who got tired and felt like this thing I just want to abandon and do something else. But today, more than ever before, a lot of our people are recognizing that there is only one thing we can do, and that one thing we can do is stay the course of this movement. So, for that reason, therefore, we will continue to do all what it takes to give this particular cast of people, I mean, that that reason to hope and to be part of this movement. So that said, Comrade Alem, I want to ask you this quick question before I give you a moment to take your breath while waiting for the barrage of questions to begin coming from the audience. Can you tell us very briefly, very quickly, what is this dark platform all about?
So, in a nutshell, DAC was created, or the idea, or the conception was birthed right about 2018. And with the way the quest for freedom was going, a bunch of us got together and said, let's try and create a platform. Let's try and create something that can be used by our people now or even into the future. The whole idea was to have a solid platform that can be able to manage the funds of the people. And when I say that, I don't want to sound like a bank, right? The whole idea is that, especially with today's day and age and technology, people should be able to have a place where they can go in, they can make a contribution towards the quest for freedom in whatever shape or form they felt necessary. So we went ahead and did this, and of course, it's been going through a couple of tests and a couple of uh, you know uh, upgrades and everything else you can think about. But the idea and the purpose, again, and I'm going to pull over here so I don't get distracted.
Oh, it would appear we lost your sound, Comrade Allen. Just a moment while I adjust that. Yes. I guess I suppose we are right back with you.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm back on, right?
Yes, you're right back on.
Okay, I'm going to find, yeah, like I was saying, I'm looking for a place to just pull over so that we can have a decent, stable signal. So the idea of the purpose,
Yeah, that
again,
would
is
be
to be able
that
to
that
have.
that is definitely gonna be ideal.
Let me find a spot here where we have a
Okay.
strong
So
signal and we
while
can
you
go.
find a spot to, settle to stop by
Are we
so
good?
that we have this conversation to the end, I like to draw the attention of our people to this very important fact that the only way we get our country back, the only way we make Ambazonia, the only way we make Ambazonia a reality is simply doing our part. Is simply ensuring that we become ambassadors of ideas that have worked. If we don't do that, we are going to be shooting ourselves on the leg. In my last broadcast, I talked about situations where we allowed people who have no idea. what we want, no idea where we are headed. We allow people who have infiltrated this movement with the view to destroying it to have the upper hand. Anytime we do such a thing, the reality is we pay the price so dearly. Just see our people running helter skelter like terrified cops in their land, on the farms, right on the farms. The talks of La République du Cameroon did not tell themselves that no, at least these are civilians. They invaded, they caused havoc. Those that were not able to run, well, they definitely paid with their lives. Those that were able to run managed to find themselves, some with broken limbs, some with broken ankles, and all of this. These are civilians right on the farms. If you look at these images, and these images mean a thing to you, if these images frustrate you, if these images bring pain to your heart, the more reason, therefore, why you should arise and support those ideas that can work. Why you should arise and understand that as a people, we can only do it together. That you should rise and understand that there is no endeavor that can succeed without the necessary resources to attain this objective. Otherwise, people like this one who calls himself fun in Kejomkeku, that is Vutsibong Benjamin. Otherwise, people like these ones would jump into the show for their selfish interest because of bread and sardine. They will auction us. They will destroy our future and destroy the future of generations upon generations of Southern Cameroonians to come. While at the same time, our young ones, the civilians back home, have done their level best to break the back of the Cameroon army. As you can see, our separatists breaking back of Cameroon army. This is not done just like that. It needs sacrifice. Freedom, we must all come to agree, has never been free. Freedom always has a price tag. But what we need to do is count the cost and pay the price. And that is how we get there. You see, I got up today frustrated, hurt, wounded, disappointed, and shocked when I saw the images coming in from ground zero that the talks of La République du Cameroun went to Banja inside Bamenda, and everything they met on their way they crushed. You see young men all in civilian attire doing nothing, just playing around the neighborhood, but they paid with their lives on this 13th of July. I just got up to see the images, shocking images. I've said here before that La République du Cameroun is after all the young men, all the young men in Ambazonia, because to their minds they say these are people who will potentially rise to fight for the Ambazonian dream. Therefore, preemptively, whether they are guilty or not guilty, they must pay the price. That's what they are doing all over our land. And that's why you heard from the voice of that our brother, the soldier, who spoke from ground zero the last time. He said the scale of the genocide ongoing in Ambazonia, in the southern Cameroons, is worse than what operated in Rwanda. I said the difference is just that in Rwanda, it happened in one go, within weeks, and the shock was too much for the world to bear. But today, in Ambazonia, La République du Cameroun is doing it in slow motion. In slow motion. I said here before that when we sit and accommodate people who believe in their minds that we ought to be slaves throughout our lives, we will find it difficult to change this movement. That's why I always work seriously with the relays of the consortium on the ground to make sure we continue to educate, to sensitize, and to cause the people to understand the need to be part of this liberation movement. to understand the need to continue to support this liberation movement. We will have our troubles, our difficulties, like every other liberation movement before us. But the one thing that should keep us going should be our firm belief in the fact that as a people, if we work together, there is no way victory will not be our portion. So I'm coming back to you, Comrade Alem. I suppose you have definitely stabilized somewhere. And so, Comrade, we were talking about DAC. How did that come about?
So that came about. Hopefully, you can hear me now. The audio is good, right?
Yes, I can hear you. 5 on 5.
Okay, perfect. Right. So the birth of DAC was as a result of predominantly mismanagement of finances within the quest for our freedom. Right. With the big one, I think was somewhere around 2017 and 18, and we realized that if we keep on going the way we're going, people are going to get disillusioned. People are going to get lose interest, lose faith. So we had to come up with something, such as a system whereby people can feel comfortable to donate or to support a particular cause when it comes to the people of Southern Cameroon. And not only that, but the people can feel comfortable and can trust that system to put their support. And it's not just financial. The whole idea is to be able to support financially or with your skill set. And in return, you can get some kind of a confirmation or some kind of assurance that whatever you put in was used for the purpose for which you assigned it to be used for. And that was the core birth of the DAC, the Diaspora Ambazonian community. It's an actual community, as the name says. And again, it was not something for us, it was for the entire community. You actually do have registered members of DAC, which initially started off as being groups, right? Especially NGO groups, and then it now expanded to individuals as well. But the core of the matter is to be able to have a system that people can contribute for a particular purpose, and they can be assured that whatever the purpose they contributed for will be used for that purpose. And the DAC assures them of a feedback system. So let me give you a quick example. If somebody, let's say, was to want to raise funds for a purpose, let's say they wanted to treat some people who were injured in a particular scenario, or to provide mattresses to the helpless, or to feed people who are hungry. The people that are trying to raise up that campaign can actually come to the DAC platform to raise that campaign, knowing that anybody who donates into that particular campaign can be assured that whatever funds or skills they donate into that campaign shall be used for that purpose only. And that was the whole creativity. We realized that that was the biggest void that we had in our quest for freedom. Having a system that was accountable to the people and accountable to the donors as well. And that was what brought about the birth of DAC.
So, to put it clean, uh, how long has DAC been operating?
DAC has been operating over 5 years for now. I think our first year was very very heavily invested in technology and in systems and IT, engineering and building of the infrastructure. And so a lot of things were going on in terms of testing, in terms of pooling resources within and outside of the Southern Cameroonian community, in terms of being able to allocate talent. That was very very difficult, and finding the right people to do the right thing and right to do the right job, I think, is one of the most difficult challenges right now within the Southern Cameroonian community. We're gifted in all different ways. The problem becomes, how do you pinpoint those who are gifted in A, B, and C and put them to work in nothing else but A, B, and C? If you look at the developed world, that's exactly what happens in the developed world. Even those people who are, let's say, into IT, you notice that you might know seven, eight, or nine things, but when you get a job, your focus is on one or two things. That's it. Nobody expects you to know the whole world. The system is built in such a way that it's team effort. So for the first year, DAC was really building on that team effort, and it's become like a family, right? For the most part, you have an executive of about 9 to 12 people, and then you have about 400 plus registered members of the platform. And there are a lot of people out there who are registered even as individuals because they believe in that particular vision of the DAC platform.
What are some of
After the
the
first year of conception, and
yeah?
then now we after the first year of conception, and then we now became more known. 2019, and unfortunately, that was when we had the we're trying to get ourselves wiggled out of COVID, and so there was a lot of things that were going on. But it worked in a way; it was a miracle because a lot of people spend more time at home, and so people were more now able to learn about their environments using the computer. And then of course that's when we were able to now submerge with the vision and put that to Southern Cameroonians. A lot of groups out there, Skywold, Skew, a lot of other SCBC have actually used the DAC platform to be able to raise funds for their particular purposes as well.
Now, I was going to ask you, what are some of the challenges that the dark platform has faced from the moment you started operating Parasite up to this day?
I think our major challenge, you see, we live in a society, especially if you're overseas, right,
Mm-hmm.
where there's a lot of quote unquote freedom, right? And
Yeah.
so one of the major challenges within the platform, one of the major challenges within the platform has been trying to hold people, especially those people overseas, accountable for things, right? When things happen. Yes, you have systems in place. Yes, you have laws and regulations. But as we all know, we're all in this quest for freedom together. And nothing prevents anybody from, doing what they really want to do or what they see fit in terms of trying to benefit the struggle. So our biggest challenge has been to be able to operate within the laws and regulations of the different countries or states where DAC is registered, and at the same time be able to appease our people and comfort our people. Remember that our people hurt the most right now is in southern Cameroon. But that does not, quote unquote, operate in southern Cameroon. And even if we did, that means that the laws and regulations in southern Cameroon are not applicable, say, in the United States or in the United Kingdom. And so it gives a very, very big challenge for us to be able to operate in one geographical region. But again, we are there for the people, we're there by the people and of the people. So our people come first. And I think within the years, we've been able to master how to do it and how to do it well and still be able to deliver as expected by our people and still be able to account to our people. That's the most important thing. Once you lose that sense of trust, you lose that sense of accountability, people lose faith in you. You're not given a second chance.
Thank you very much, Comrade Alem. I'll let you take your breath again a little bit. And I see some of you are asking for the number that you can use in participating on the program. The number again is plus one, or you can put 001 240 883 6443. +1 240 883 6443. And again, as I said earlier, it is WhatsApp only. You can either text your question or you can go ahead and call. You see, my people, I like us, Comrade Alem, to take a quick look at this activism of the citizens of La République du Cameroon. And you will recall that they actually joined in, they actually copied from us this general activism. And let's talk just a bit about what must have taken the fire out of our feet in the diaspora.
Dégage! 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 Assassin! 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 Complice! Complice! Assassin! 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 Complice! Macron est complice! Nous c'est Viva Moscou! 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 Dans le pays! Dans le pays de Biya, est-ce qu'il y a des routes? Non! Dans le pays de Biya, est-ce qu'il y a de l'eau? Non! Dans le pays de Biya, est-ce qu'il y a de l'électricité? Non! Dans le pays de Biya, c'est la tika!
Okay, you see, those images, Comrade Alem, should absolutely remind you of that time when we were the kings of demonstration, where we were everywhere in the world, everywhere around the world, demonstrating, getting the attention of the international community, calling the attention of even, passers-by all over the world to the plight of the people of Ambazonia. But today, you notice that our demonstration power has thinned. Maybe everybody's paying attention just to what is happening on ground zero. Is it possible for us to ignore that aspect of our struggle and, you know, just allow everything just in the hands of the people on the ground and still be very hopeful about the outcome?
I want to say that we have to be a little bit careful, right, when we try to analyze other situations and try to do like a comparison, right? And I want to tread on this very, very lightly because I don't want anyone to think that I'm downplaying or minimizing our quest for freedom. But if you look at those images, you notice that I'm assuming I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'm seeing that it's more or less a peaceful demonstration. I even see some of the policemen smiling, those who are supposed to be quote unquote doing the protection. And the environment in which it occurs is a peaceful environment. Our people, when we did our demonstration, shots were fired, people were gunned down, especially when it comes to
This
ground
was in
zero,
France.
right?
This was in France,
Right.
Comrade Allen.
No,
This was in France.
I'm getting, I'm, yeah, yeah, I'm getting there. I'm trying to put, yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Now, when you come now to the diaspora, right? When we were doing the demonstrations, of course, you had also the COVID that came in, and then of course a lot of things tanked during that particular time. But things change and things evolve, right? Where they are right now, that's probably a much more recent demonstration. We were there before, right? And I think that again, part of my belief also is in the fact that when we started this, when this phase of our quest for freedom, because I personally believe this has been going on since the '60s, right? It's just that now we're in a different phase. When this thing started, uh, a few people were led to believe the fact that it was going to be a shock and awe. If you were to use like what happened in the United States during I don't remember which presidency that was. I think it was George Bush, and there was an attack on Iraq, and it was supposed to be a 3-day thing. And the phrase then that was used was shock and awe. With 3 days, and we'll take over Baghdad. It's been 18, 19, 20 years, and nobody took over Baghdad, right? So a lot of our people put in a lot of their energy and knew that they'll give their be all and end all, because if you look at it, you look at this the Southern Cameroon's issue. Geography is on our side. Historically, history is on our side. If you look at the laws of the land and you look at the everything seems to be on our side. The only thing that is not on our side is the geopolitics, right? And that's the one thing that I believe that Southern Cameroonians turned a deaf ear or a blind eye to. And so people have become a little bit, I guess, frustrated about what's going on. And the more it has dragged, let me not just point a spade at the enemy. The more it has dragged, some of our people have also been part to be blamed for some of the issues that are going on, or the lack of that enthusiasm to hit the streets. Um, the one thing I do know about us as a people, that we're very, very resilient. Some of the smartest people in the world are Southern Cameroonians, and we can share some of those facts as well. When you see
Yeah.
Southern Cameroonians in different parts of the world, they are doing tremendous things under different systems that allow them to operate as thus. I'm talking about Southern Cameroonians, for an example, going to China and excelling. Not only are they excelling in China, they're speaking the language and they're picking up on the culture and able to excel. That tells you that if a Southern Cameroonian can go to Germany and become a great engineer or a great physicist or a medical doctor, one of the best in the United Kingdom right now is a Southern Cameroonian. As a matter of fact, I applaud him. He actually went to one of my alma maters, Sacred Heart College, Bank from Bamenda. It means that if you give them the chance to operate within the vicinity of their own land, within their own freedom, and within their own laws and regulations, that could be one of the best, if not the best countries in the world. So,
Okay.
Comrade Janbo Akro, what I'm saying is that we have to look at this in a geographically in terms of where this happened. You also look at the timing of how this happened, and also the fact that where they are right now, we were there before. Now, have we progressed to where we are today in terms of going out there on demonstration? It depends on who you ask that question. For some people, they have not seen the effect of demonstrating, right? Some people lost interest because they demonstrated one time, two times, three times, wrote a couple of letters to the embassies, and our people want to see immediate effect. That's the problem. We want to see immediate gratification, and I think we're now learning gradually, even though it might be a slow learning curve, that that's not how the world operates.
Thank you, Comrade Alem. I want to take you to this question from the audience. This is from New DXB. But before I get to his question, I just, I'm going back to some of the details of what happened in Awin Quarter. That was specifically Awin Quarter around Banja in Bamenda, where there were five minor children, actually minor children. So these minors were shot dead in their Arinkwata home. That was in the night of July 13 by the Cameroon military. Said there were five little boys and two girls. The boys were all shot dead. The images are so gory, so horrible that YouTube won't allow me to broadcast those images here. I would really have wanted to beam those images here so that we understand the importance of what we are talking about here today. The need for us to dip our hands into our pockets, for us to spread the news once more that we have a platform that can enable us to contribute resources to prosecute this liberation movement, and the money will attain the objective for which it is intended. So the boys were all shot dead and the girls were taken away. Guess what could have happened to the girls, Comrade Allen?
Hey, this is sickening, and I think the first thing that comes to my mind, because if they wanted the girls dead, they would have killed them first. The girls are generally conceived as being the weaker when it comes to human beings, between men and women, right? So if they kept the girls alive, they probably kept them alive for a purpose. And the first thing that unfortunately comes to my mind is rape. Um, this is something that I think there have been many, many, many stories that are coming out that have
Sure.
come out of southern Cameroon, even with the military raping
Sure. It's a pattern.
women. Talk about,
It's a pattern.
yes, talk about going down to the level of girls, and that's something that brings tears to people's eyes. The sad truth is that we if you look at the southern Cameroonian community does have resources that you can put aside to try to prevent rapes and try to prevent some of these things from happening, to help those who are injured, to feed those. There are people out there who believe in, let's say, helping women, who are raped. People out there who believe in helping men with gunshots. People out there who believe in helping people who are hungry. We all have our priorities as individuals. What we have not yet learned how to do is to work as a collective. And I think that the moment that we're able to do that, that's when things begin to take a different turn. Not just in terms of the revolution at hand, but in terms of building our own future. And that's the one thing that we try to instill at DAC, working as a collective. People that have different ideas, different terminologies, different goals and visions, but we can share together that, okay, you know what, for this part on time, we'll do A, and we all focus on A. Now let's do B. Even though the idea of B was brought by somebody else, we know that we have to prioritize and we know that we have to get them done. But the question is, in what order, in what sequence, right? And so that's something that I'm hoping that it can spill into other groups that are probably less fortunate.
Now, we have this question from New DXB. And like I said earlier, if you are just joining, you want to participate, you want to call, use the phone number +1 240 883 6443. You want to drop your questions by text. This is WhatsApp. So use the same number +1 or 001 240 883 6443. So we have the first question here from Comrade DXB. Says, how can DAC incorporate with other groups to work together and speak as one people? For example, working with Egg of Sea. That's a question I'm seeing on the live chat. Over to you, Comrade Allen.
So DAC is, and I'm interested that it's rather interesting that the comrade asked that particular question. DAC is already collaborating and cooperating with other groups. Again, remember that DAC is a platform, and there are many, many other groups already existing and using that platform to raise funds for their various purposes. DAC is also a member of the Southern Cameroon's Civil Society Network, or otherwise known as the CSOs, the Civil Society Engineers, Civil Society Network, right? The NGO groups that are based, most of them are working very, very hard at ground one. Some of them also into ground zero. And so we're able to work with those groups to be able to relieve some of the pain that our people are going through in terms of providing substantial help and support. DAC also is very, very instrumental with centers within the ground zero, ground one network as well, either directly or indirectly. Most importantly, as well, DAC is also a member of the Southern Cameroon's stakeholder platform. And on that platform, the AGOFC and other groups such as IG, such as CAWL, SKU, such as there are many, many, many other groups which are members of the Southern Cameroon Stakeholder Platform. So together we're able to incorporate, to work with them, to share ideas, to know what they are doing, to see how we can help, to see how we can share our technology with those existing groups. Also, thanks to the SCSP, we're able to communicate with the other groups directly or even indirectly sometimes. Just having a general platform of that nature allows us to be able to keep each other in check of what we're doing, right? And
Yes.
so that's how DAC is able to communicate specifically with the AGOFC.
Yeah, Comrade Alem, we have someone from the audience, and this is Comrade Ninkov. Comrade Ninkov, you should be calling from somewhere in Europe.
Yeah. Good evening, Comrade Alem. This is Metro Nikon, Mr. Alem.
Yeah, so Comrade Nikov, can
Good
you ask
evening,
your
Metro.
question?
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I want to make a comment and also ask a question. One question is, please, Comrade Alem. I'm one of pioneer members of the DAC. In those days, we used to organize a live sort of fundraising for the DAC and regards any project that we deemed very, very important. So question is, can DAC now organize, taking that what we are working on now is very, very important and urgent. Can DAC now organize a fundraising in regards this drive that Comrade Jomba Akoro is presenting to Ambazonians? And secondly, can you display the information about the link of the website that can help enable Ambazonians get access to see how that can operate, because we don't see it on the screen right now. And then my comment here will be, it's rather so unfortunate that our homeland is at war. Our people are under constant attack, killing, detention, and even burning of places. It is so sad to see that our people are even more focused on raising some sort of cultural group fund. They raise more money than in regards what they call cultural project than what we are calling for assistance to supporting our army. I don't understand how can convince them come on board and instead focus on saying that we raise money towards liberating our homeland than towards projects that cannot be realized now because we are under war. Thank you very much, Comrade Jonba and Mr. Adam.
Okay, Comrade Alem, you got the question and the observation from Comrade Ninkov. Thank you, Comrade Ninkov. So, Comrade Alem, over to you.
Yes, Comrade Nikov is actually one of the pioneer DAC members. He's one of those people who has been there since day one. As a matter of fact, during our conception and initialization days as well. To answer your question, Comrade, yes, as things change, right? As the I want to say our quest for our freedom changes, and so too must we change too, right? In our tactics and how we do things. Prior to you asking your question, I had just answered, I think, the previous question that Comrade Jomba Akuru asked with regards to collaboration and working with other groups. There are times that you can do things solo, right? And you can get a good and positive result. But sometimes when you do things together, you even get a bigger result. So I think that your question, yes, can DAC do a fundraiser? We can do that. We've been very, very successful in the past. That's true. But I think also when you light a candle and keep it under the blanket, only you see the light. Nobody else sees that light. I think if we can share our fundraising tactics with other groups, and we can actually do that together as a collaborative, as a community. The idea is to get to the point where whatever is in DAC right now spirals and it goes out and increases the strength of the people as a whole, right? The whole idea is to be able to do something that is successful, and when it succeeds, or when that thing succeeds, share that thing with other people so that they too can succeed. That alone cannot be the only quote unquote successful group, or have the success stories, right? If we are succeeding, we need to be able to share that with our brothers and sisters so that they too can also succeed. Because when they succeed, then we can move on to other things, and then together as a people, we can succeed. So I think your idea is great. It's something I'll take back to the team, but we'll try and do it on a bigger scale this time. Again, it's about growth. To work in collaboration with other groups and do a major fundraising. Raising money is not really the difficult, right? Our people have to be told why they're raising money, or to be pointed in the right direction as to what they're raising money for. And when you point them in that direction, you also have the responsibility and also be obliged to tell them and confirm with them that whatever they raise the money or gave their money for is what it was used for. I think what happened was we had some major fundraisers in the past, not we as DAC, but we as a people, and those funds were not used for the purpose, and so people just lost interest. Had those funds been properly managed and used for the what the people wanted them to be used for, we will not be in this predicament. So at this point in time, yes, that's something that I will definitely take back to the board to discuss how DAC can, in collaboration with others, set up and do a fundraising for this purpose that we're talking about right now. In terms of what was the second question? I think I lost my train of thoughts.
Yes, I think generally he was talking about the need for dark to kind of create the possibility to receive this approach at the massive fundraiser that we are talking about. So,
Right,
what kind of
right.
parameters are you putting in place to ensure that that can accommodate this and then make it work?
Well, we're thinking right now of reinitializing or reopening our relief basket. That this is a basket that we had on our platform. Oh, by the way, I think Nikov had asked about the link or the website. So if you go to www.dacommunity.org, I think is where you're able to see the history of DAC and what we've done, what we've accomplished so far, the different centers that we're involved in, and how we collaborate with our various sister and brother groups. So that will be www.dacommunity.org. Unfortunately, I'm on the road right now, so some of these things I could not have access to until I get back into my office.
Did you
But
say
yes, it's something that we've
darkcommunity.org?
is one C DAC community.
Okay.
Yes. So that is where, and again, this also it's a platform just like we do on the Southern Cameroon stakeholder platform. It's an open platform for people to come and join and participate and bring their ideas and talk about how we can see and forge a way forward. The same lies true for DAC. DAC is not a closed, not is not my father's or my grandfather's property. No, it's a property that belongs to the Southern Cameroonian people. Various people are welcome to register to join and to have the same idea, same visions, maybe different approach to how you do it, but so long as you're in line with the idea of what Southern Cameroonians want at the moment in time, then of course your ideas are definitely welcomed. We discuss how to deploy those ideas, how to execute those ideas as a people. I think the one thing that we may have missed so far in our quest for freedom is the fact that it has become personal, right? It has gotten to the point where because my brother failed or my sister failed, therefore I can't trust them anymore and I want to do things my way. Well, it's been proven right now, and this is why I say sometimes God knows why he does what he does, but God's time is always the best. It's been proven that as individuals we cannot go anywhere, right? It's also been proven that as individual groups, unless you're really, really a nutcase, it's also been proven that as an individual entity or group, we as a people cannot go anywhere. It only leaves one option, right? The option of collaboration, the option of coming together. And these platforms I believe have proven that they can get things done. The question now becomes how we manage ourselves on the platforms. And the most important question, and I'm going to borrow one of the US president, I think it was Kennedy, who said, don't ask what America can do for you. Ask what
Hmm.
you can do for America, right? So those of us who are quote unquote clinging onto groups and clinging onto individuals, I want you to ask yourself the question. You say, "Oh, what has uh, this group done for me? What have you done for your group, right? What have you done for your platform? What have you done for the struggle?"
So yeah, so Comrade Alem, I have this. This one's actually comments, and I'll bring to you the comments from the chat. They say one says we must, because it's actually in reaction to the previous question that was asked about opening up to the various groups and collaborating with them. With I mean, for example, AGOVC. So Mark King says, we must accept the fact that we will never work as one to liberate the war. That's to free our land. We must rather cooperate. So you look at the model here, because we've taken the approach of let us all come together as one and operate under perhaps one big umbrella. That hasn't worked. And Mark Kings is saying here that he believes that is only in cooperation, of course, that which where we can be able to make it. And I think that this initiative calling on us to use the dark platform, which is that platform that can promote transparency and that can give us an account of how the money raised will be spent, is actually meant to be that way, because the overall philosophy has been that we are all fighting for the flag and not for our individual groups, not for our individual leaders. And that question, that reaction is followed by that of John Botti, who says, good evening, sir. How can someone from us here, that's in ground zero, or those in ground one, that's Nigeria, Ghana, the Middle East, I mean, these are areas that are so protective in terms of banking. How can we contribute to the dark platform? Because we have been having a lot of problems with Zelle. So those in such areas, Comrade Allen, how can they contribute when eventually you release the link for contribution to this initiative?
So if you go right now again to www.darkcommunity.org, you will realize that the platform, again, from all our testing and all our past experiences, has been set up to be able to accept and take currencies from other nations as well too, and dealing with other countries' bank systems, and that goes even as far in as African nations. So when we get ourselves when we complete the recent request, when you go to that website, you have a what we call a bucket, right, or an area there, again, a relief campaign, where you'll be able to just click in and make your contributions, whatever currency you are. And trust me, even in Switzerland, in Europe, even in Russia, you can actually still make contribution to the dark platform. Like I said, it's a thorough platform. It's been well tested and vetted. The fact that we're still here after 5 years should tell you something, right? Means we're doing something right for the most part. So there will be a direct link for the particular campaign in question. But if you go now to that website, you'll see other campaigns that are up and running. And again, for our sake of transparency and accountability, if you look at the different campaigns, most of them have like a start and an end date, and it even tells you how much has been raised to date, right? These are what our people want to see. If I came somewhere and I gave $100 for children in, let's say, in Kumba to be fed, and after the end of the month, that gave me a report and even showed me some of the pictures of some of those children that were fed, I will be very, very more encouraged to give $200 the next time I come in there, because that's my passion. My passion is children. Somebody else's passion may be, for an example, clothing, right? If a mommy went and said, "No, ma, just give him a small $50 for year, ma, help the girl picking them for the they wear clothes." After 1 month, Dak sends her an email and shows her 5 children that her money was used to clothe them. Trust me, that mommy go take second job, go give $100 next time, and it becomes a cycle effect. Like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, we need to get to the point where we can restore hope and faith in us again. If you talk to our older generation, parents and uncles and grandfathers and grandmothers,
Yeah.
about the Southern Cameroons of back in those days, and I think that that's what is missing right now from the revolution. A lot of us, young hearts, myself included, have some we've lived cross-cultural lives, right? And living overseas doesn't necessarily make it any better either, as well, too, because now you think you know so much, you think you've landed, you've arrived. But when you speak with your parents and your grandparents and your great grandparents, fireside story, you quickly begin to realize that Southern Cameroons of that generation was the true Southern Cameroons. And for us to truly understand where we are going, we need to go back and re-engage those older folks who lived Southern Cameroon lifestyle, those who remembered what it was like when milk was brought to the doorsteps. There are a lot of people right now, I'm sure, even those our voices in the bushes, who, if you ask them, why are you fighting indeed? Some of them will tell you, based on the historical facts. But some people will probably go off and not really indeed why are they fighting? What is it about the Southern Cameroons that
Uh, Comrade Allen? Yes,
are you
okay.
there?
Yes, fortunately you are back, and so
Okay.
yes, you are gonna continue. I have this piece of information to share with you, and I mean it's just been dropped with me here by our
If you
liberation
got an incoming
struggle
call.
firebrand researcher.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me, Comrade Allen?
I can hear you
Yeah,
now. Yes, I can hear you.
yes,
Yes.
one of our firebrand researchers who spends days and nights researching to get, I mean, vital information about the impact of the actions being taken by the various actors in this liberation movement on the functioning of the government of La République du Cameroon. Comrade Eyembe generally says that unknown to too many people, the deep that we are creating is so much, and it is tenacity, determination, and focus that will enable us just complete what is just left to be complete. And that makes this fundraising issue extremely important. He just sent me a screenshot of an international news organ that says Cameroon predicts nearly CFA franc 200 billion drop in oil revenue in 2024. 200 billion revenue drop. This is something that you should know. That's especially with oil. And this is very important. It tells you the difficult situation in which Cameroon continues to find itself. That is why I've said here that it becomes very urgent for them to sow fear, terror, to make our people feel that this journey towards liberation is the wrong thing that we ever decided to take, and that perhaps we need to stop and change course because the level of butchering is too much. This happened. Pastor Asobo did share that with me here, and I shared it on this platform. That it happened in Eritrea, it happened in East Timor, it happened with South Sudan. That all of these things came on. The colonial administration brought down all this terror to try and mask the difficulties that they were facing as a result of those colonial campaigns. And so, La République du Cameroon, a few days ago, went out to the international finance market to raise money through treasury bonds. You know, when you saw the newspapers, they tell you that Cameroon exceeded the wanted 150 billion and ended up with 177 billion. But they don't tell you that Cameroon actually went in for 150 billion because they were revising the position from an initial request of 250 billion, which came extremely short. They wanted 250 billion CFA from the international money market, but they failed woefully to attract even 180 billion. Recall, just 2 years back, they could request any amount and get above and beyond. So Cameroon had to revise down to 150 billion in order that they can surpass that little target, and then you get all that bragging. What I want to tell our people simply is La République du Cameroon has been crumbling gradually, gradually, gradually. But they are trying to use some kind of imagery to instill fear, doubt, and confusion in the minds of our people to think that we are actually losing. True, A lot of young people are dying by the day, but a lot of La Republic Cameroon soldiers are dying as well, Comrade Allen.
Yeah, you see, the the very few people, right, who are plugged into both fora, fora on the southern Cameroon side and fora on the La Republique side as well. Um, Unless you have somebody or some persons on both sides, then you don't get both sides of the story, right? So what happens is when you look at the southern Cameroon side, like we see right now in Biya and all these other places, we're thinking to ourselves, oh my goodness, the world is coming to an end. Sometimes I think that, and this is something that we need to discuss at the level of all the various groups. Maybe it will be, for us to be able to also, have a light heart in terms of our people and their thinking. Also talk about some of this, the pain and suffering that's happening across the Mongo, because we feel as though it's only us, it's only us, it's only us. Now, having said that, I also want to be very careful about one thing. People should understand that there's a war going on. The fact that you can still go down the streets in Limbe or you are in Bamenda and things appear to be normal, when the president of Cameroon declared a war, um, his government has not yet come on declared that war, right? So there's still a war going on in the country. Now, talk about monies. The one thing that we have to understand, and I think our people need to be a little bit further educated on this, is that we're dealing with the state. It's the Cameroon government is not nowhere close to being declared as a rogue state, right? So that even makes things maybe a little bit worse. But it's a state. It might be a state that has rules and regulations that are upside down, but it's still a state, and it's also respected thus by international communities and other organizations as a state. This therefore means that they have the upper hand. Now, if the government is 80% corrupt and 20% not, and Ambazonians are 80% not corrupt and 20% not, they still have the upper hand and the upper respect in the world. We are not an island. We're not living on Mars, and we're dealing with people who are living on Earth. We are living on Earth, and unfortunately, some of the rules and regulations that govern the Earth are not in our favor and are not fair. Having said that, I'm bringing this because you talk about a state that is being able to acquire 120 billion francs thereof CFA, right? The
Yeah.
war that's going on right now within the southern Cameroons, this may come as a pain to some, but I'm coming from a good place and I'm coming from a good position when I say this. Ambazonians alone, southern Cameroonians alone, will not be the ones to liberate that country. It's not because we give $50 here, $100 here, $50, 120 here, that's going to liberate the country. You're not going to go up against a machine that's able to go and get 180 billion francs CFA. So they can get that, and they can afford to mismanage or to lose even 50% of that. They still have 70 billion francs to work around and do good with. We cannot afford to mismanage 50% of our income, right? We have to be able to mismanage maximum 1 or 2% of our income for the reasons I just mentioned above. Also, and this is also the other side of the story, we have to be very, very careful, because even quote unquote international community who are willing to help us and able to help us, who would they help? If Let me give you an example. If you are Exxon right now in the United States, you're the CEO, the owner of, the chairman of Exxon Corporation,
Hmm.
and you want to give $500 million because you have a vision to invest in Southern Cameroon. You say, listen, I need to see this thing come to an end. I don't want my investments to be tampered with. I'm going to give $500 million today to Southern Cameroonians to liberate that country so that tomorrow I can invest and get my money back in 10 years or in 5 years. Who do you give that money to?
That question is actually what has brought us to where we are here today, and that is what we are here today to kind of decipher. And that's why you notice that having seen that difficulty, I personally felt that it made a lot of sense to circumvent the group dynamics and group philosophies that have kind of bedeviled this liberation movement, and work with a structure that can give us greater guarantees of transparency and of accountability. But Comrade Alem, there's this question that has come over and over. I say that before I take another question that's just coming here from the audience on WhatsApp. Uh, some people have been asking, what specific technology has DAC put in place to protect the credit card information and biodata of all of those who will be contributing using this platform for this project?
So the technology, I'm going to answer this in a way without uh, causing havoc. The technology that DAC has is very, very similar to the technology that PayPal has, right? The whole idea is to be able to secure information and work with existing bodies that have done this for many, 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 many years already. Like you have the GoFundMe's and you have now you have PayPal, using the similar tool that they use to be able to secure the various payments, so that you're not only talking about the people hacking them from the outside, right? Even among ourselves as Southern Cameroonians, truth be told, we also have people that we have to keep an eye out for and be watchful about, right? So again, that's why I said it took a long time for DAC to get to where it is today, because we've learned from either past experiences and from past mistakes. Some of the mistakes are genuine when you get into this kind of thing, but these are some of the things that we believe are perfected, and we're constantly updating. With technology, you never just fold your arms and say, "Oh, I don't reach there. I don't land." You never land. When you land here today, tomorrow there's another mountain in front of you to climb. So I'll leave it like that. It doesn't really do me any justice to the Southern Cameroonian people to come and pinpoint and tell you that we've done this, we have this server, we have that, because then I'm only feeding the enemy with more information on how to counteract that information. See, we have to get to the point in our struggle where I'm not asking anybody to trust anybody 100%. People can always be changed and always be influenced. But when you build a system, it's difficult to cheat a system. Like I myself, yes, I may be the chairman of DAC today, but I don't even have access to funds. I don't even know what password goes into what account. And that,
That
in a
takes
way,
me
is a deliberate
actually
thing.
that actually takes me to the next question to you. What guarantees do we have for transparency that people are not going to put in their money and at the end of the day they start hearing that the money has been mismanaged, that it has been stolen left and right and things like that, and that those who are not supposed to have access to the money did have access. What guarantees do we have for transparency and accountability?
Comrade Kuru, the guarantees that DAC has, the guarantees for transparency is the lively is the bloodline of DAC. If we cannot guarantee that, then we don't exist. If we cannot guarantee our people that, then we cease to exist. And I think we've had situations in the past where we've proven that we can guarantee that, even when it comes to dealing with our own people, even when it comes to dealing with our own brothers and sisters. Listen, this is how it is in the dark community. When we sit out here, we can go out, for example, and go, have a barbecue and talk and snack and laugh. But when it comes to business, it comes to business. You talk about managing people's money. There are women out there who have taken second or third jobs just to donate for something, to see something happen. Tomorrow, if there's a flag that is blown and is against DAC, then we have lost it, right? We will never we will now forevermore have to be quiet, because somebody or some peoples have been let down because we did not honor our own end of the bargain, which has to do with the transparency and accountability. That is the heartbeat of DAC. It's not everything else is secondary, right? So we don't have there is no opportunity or there's no leverage for us to mismind or to let go of that. That is the pillar of which the Dark Foundation was formed. Everything else is just secondary. It's like when you build a firestone and have three different stones and you put a pot on top. Accountability, is one of our main pillars. If you remove that, the pot falls into the fire. Transparency is the other one. If you remove that, the pot falls into the fire. Ease of use and being able to being able to communicate with our people. Communication is a very, very important thing. Sometimes it's not about platform being not being able to use it, or people cannot reach it, or people are having doubts about how to use it. No, it's about how was it sold, how were people educated on how to use it. Comrade Jumba Akuru, if I go and put a platform in front of you, which can be the best platform in the world, has been there for 30 years and is fail proof, and I don't teach you how to use it, or I don't educate you on it, it's as good as a useless platform.
Now, the other question is how soon? How soon will the portal for contribution go live, so people can start putting in contributions towards this? Because I announced here and I stay by it that every Monday I mean, I will call you up to come onto this platform, or you send someone from DAC to come here and announce to the people of Ambazonia what must have been contributed within the week. I want to say this because this is absolutely important. We need to let the people know as we are progressing with raising these funds. So we see the gap that we are creating between us and other movements that happened before us. I said when matters got to a head, the people of Eritrea were contributing $1 million every week. $1 million every week. I mean, every week. That is how you win. It's true. Someone asked here, my question is Ambazonia frontliner making any diplomatic alliance with other country? Can we not go into agreement with a Wagner group based on the fact that they have helped in Mali, Burkina Faso, and other places to listen? I said this here before, and that's why I'm bringing this back to you, Comrade Allen, that first we should recognize what is good for us. We know that we are on our own as a people. If we do not begin by going to that extent, that we make the world continue to talk of Ambazonia, major news organs talk of Ambazonia on a daily basis, we will not attract the attention of any serious international stakeholder. So that is why this issue of contribution and contributing real well becomes very important. I made the analogy last time and I'm going to make it after your response to this question. So how soon will the contribution portal be made available and go live so that people can start contributing? There are people who wanted to start contributing or who want to start contributing as early as yesterday. Comrade Allen.
So there's a saying, the Englishman says, and I'll borrow this phrase, good things come to those who wait. Again, I'm not trying to downplay this, but whenever we build our portals, we have to go through a rigorous test. We actually have half of our team building the portal, and the other half of the team is trying to see how to destroy it, right? How to find the loopholes. So it doesn't do us any good to rush and do something today because we're trying to meet up a deadline of Monday, and then on Wednesday things collapse. So I would like to say I'll get back to you. I'll talk to my team and see how far they've gotten. My initial wish was that it should have been up by when we last communicated. I think it was on Friday or so. But again, this is a summer time. A lot of people are either on taking vacations, and I know that yes, people are dying on the ground. Trust me, I'm not taking this lightly at all. But if you want to do something, you have to do it right. You have to do it right. This is not something you want to mess with. So I would say I'll get back to you and let you know about that. Also, Comrade John Akuru, you're saying about Monday. I'm just laughing. We have advanced with technology, right? On the platform, at any time, 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 a.m., 11:59, you'll be able to go in and see how much was raised. So you don't need to have somebody come every Monday to update the platform. Any individual can use their phone and just go in and see how much was raised, and then also we're going to do it like we did our other fundraisers. Only those people who contribute into that particular fund get results or monthly reports as to what the funds were used for, right? And we say this because it has been our experience in the past. People who don't contribute anywhere come and make the most noise as to what money was used for. Now, I'm not trying to point a particular finger at any particular person, but I
I
think
understand where
personally,
you're coming from. I definitely
I
do
think
understand where you're
personally,
coming
if
from.
I contribute $500 for something, and that tells me if I want to share that report with the whole world, hey, that's so be it, right? But DAC, if you notice, DAC does not put out stuff on social media or stuff on the no. We communicate just like any company within the United States or within the UK would communicate the proper way. So yes, there will constantly be a timer that would tell you on the site how much has been collected. And to go to the case of the story of Eritrea, $1 million every week, it kind of answers my first question I told you about the CEO of Exxon. Where would he put money? Do you think that if when you go out to ask for help, let me put it more subtle so that people can understand. When you go out to beg for help, even in the church, they tell you go and pray, but what have you done to achieve that particular goal? And then God will take care of the rest, right? There's a reason for that. What have Southern Cameroonians done such that the helper who is outside can throw you that branch and say, yeah, let me help these people? What have we done, right? And have we done enough? That's the question. Don't you think that if the CEO of Exxon were to stumble across the dark platform, let me just say, and he saw that every week 1 point something million dollars was being raised by a people, and there was proof of what the funds were, you actually, have an idea of this money being used to help the people in whatever form, way, or shape. Don't you think that that will raise eyebrows in the other communities? But
Exactly what I'm
if
saying.
that doesn't exist, right?
Exactly what I'm
If
saying.
$1 million being raised on a dark platform would turn international, Tibonagi and others, trust me, they will be looking at us and saying, okay, now we've got to act together. Let's talk to these people. We need to talk to these guys.
But of course, just know that even La République du Cameroon will begin to have, I mean, they will begin to tremble once more. Because right now, one of the things that make them happy is that they are telling themselves they have successfully killed the spirit of fundraising within the Ambazonian community. That it will be difficult for Ambazonians to raise funds again and therefore to attract that international support that we desire. Take note, if you want to know the philosophy of tithing, per se, you tithe, you take the little that you have, you go and present because you want God to give you plenty. In the situation like our liberation movement, the little that we have is what should enable us to be doing things in such a way that the people who should support us should see that these people have a focus, these people know what they want. If they're able to raise this kind of money weekly, it means they know what they want, and so we must begin to take them very, very seriously. Comrade Adam, some people tell me
Yes.
that with Ambazonia is going to be very complicated to raise that kind of money. Do you share that thought? Because I feel from my end, I'm like, come on. It just takes determination, focus, and a dying desire to succeed. What's your perspective on this?
I think from past experiences, especially with dealing with other Southern Cameroonians and in different aspects of the nature of life, I would have to differ with that, right? It all is all about passion. And let me give you an example. If you put up something, a campaign on the dark website to raise money for pregnant women, right? Let me just give as an example. Okay. Who are those who are going to be the most likely to put more money in there? Yes, somebody may give $50, someone may give $100, right? The people that are going to give $500 and $1,000 are going to be most likely people who are interested in women who are pregnant or are interested in terms of trying to help them, right? Somebody who has a soft spot for a pregnant woman will give more than somebody who doesn't have, right? If you put something on the dark platform to raise money for injured boys and girls, right? Like what happened in, let's say, in Bowie, somebody who has a soft spot for that injury will most likely donate more money towards a particular cause than somebody who will not. And I'm saying this, maybe I'm not giving the proper example. It's like having something that involves lawyers and you're trying to support lawyers. Anybody who's going to give more money was most likely somebody who is a lawyer himself or somebody who has been touched by a lawyer, as opposed to a doctor. So that tells me that the liberation and the way that the dark platform works, it's open to any and everybody, because then we can have any and everybody excited about giving money for whatever cause. If you feel that this new quote unquote uh, uh, portal is not for you and you don't want to raise funds towards that, I can bet you that by the time you go to page 2 and page 3, you'll find something that interests you that you want to raise money for. Now, to answer your original question, has the spirit died? No, I don't think the spirit has died. I think the spirit has just been let down. People have been let down, people have been burned, people are quote unquote tired. The spirit doesn't die, right? So if we can fix what killed the spirit was lack of accountability and lack of transparency. If we can fix that, Southern Cameroonians will rise again. We're never going to die and just die off. That's not going to happen because we have no other option. You see, that's the thing. When you chase a cat, I'm not talking for pigeon. Because if I want to talk enough for English, it go mean as an event story. When you chase pussycat, it enter for corner war.
Good one right there. Uh-huh.
When you chase pussycat, it enter for corner wall. It look left, if we travel. It look right, it look wall. The wall too high for jump. What you go do? It go scratch.
Definitely.
That's the last thing you can do. But that same cat, if you had put it in the living room somewhere or in the forest, will run away from you and try to find a place to do its thing. It's not gonna. But when you corner something, and I think that Southern Cameroonians, we're not probably quite there yet, but we're getting very, very close to being cornered. We are getting very, very close to being cornered. And once we get to that corner, we have no option but as a people now to turn around and face our enemy. And again, money speaks. Yes, money is one thing, but I don't want us to, so like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, we are a very talented people that even the world fears. We are a very talented people. There's a reason why when you look at people that have gotten scholarships to go into Harvard, to go into Yale, to go into Oxford, a lot of Southern Cameroonians who graduated from very, very good schools back in Southern Cameroons have been able to compete among people even in the other countries and get into those schools. My belief has always been in the fact that our strength is in our talent, is in our smartness. Our problem is you have 150 smart Cameroonians, quote unquote, doing very well, great lawyers, best engineers, best doctors, best pilots as individuals, but as a community, zero.
Yeah,
Or let me
that's
say
why
one
I
for
say
lack of more evidence. Yeah.
now Ambazonia got talent, and that one there is no doubt about it. And I mean, anyone who doubts that is definitely not honest. My people, what I want to say here and say it repeatedly is that yes, we can do it. And we really should rise to the occasion and do it. Comrade Alem, you know, when we are quoting Eritrea, quoting East Timor, quoting South Sudan, and saying they did this, especially Eritreans, that they raised $1 million every week at one point. At the beginning, it was not so. They also had moments like this ones where it was thought that
Yep.
everything had crumbled. But there came a tipping point. The tipping point was when they saw the spate of killings become extremely indiscriminate. Reverend Pastor Asobo, they described that to me here, and I want to really get to what he said. Because you see, Comrade Adam, sharing this kind of literature is important in this kind of circumstance. So that people know, because he said during this time, the Dutch could not control the population by force alone. When they talk about the Dutch, I mean by the Ethiopians. To supplement its garrison, forces were sent on missions to instill fear in the population, including massacres which took place in primarily Muslim parts of Eritrea, including the villages of Sheb, Hirgigo, Elabad, and the town of Omer Hajar. Massacres also took place in predominantly Christian areas as well. The advent of these brutal killings of civilians, regardless of race, religion, or class, was the final straw for many Eritreans who were not involved in the war. And at this point, many either fled the country or went to the front lines. So you see, it gets to a point where you yourself you recognize that yesterday they came for X, the previous day they had come for W, another day they had come for C. Yesterday or not, 4 days back they came for B. Tomorrow is likely going to be me, X. And this is why I'm telling our people today, it's already so bad now on the ground. We can see what happened in our wing quarters in Banja just 2 days back. This is something that is going to continue if we don't muster the courage to come out here once more and begin to send a sound message to the République du Cameroon by contributing in droves using the dark platform that we have the full assurance of both transparency, accountability, and the protection of all our vital information that will be put in onto this website. Comrade Alem, I know I've kept you on this platform for quite long today. We should be gliding towards the end, but you just heard what I said from that contribution from Pastor Asobo. Do you have a word to it?
Yes, I do. Again, I go back to my quote unquote pussycat, right? Remember I told you about the cat in the corner. So maybe for the Eritreans, right, their threshold point was maybe 2,000 deaths a day, right? If you look at the threshold for Rwanda, it was 1 million deaths, right? Or maybe 1 million in a week. Everybody has a threshold. Africans in general have a lot of threshold for endurance of suffering and pain. And I say this because it doesn't only apply to Southern Cameroonians. I think the whole entire continent, if you ask me, we have a very, very high threshold, right? That also leads to our idea of, if you look at the West, for example, they have a very low threshold. That's why everything here seems to be quote unquote easy. They make things and make machines to do their things. The guy, they don't want them wahala. They don't want them trouble them. They want to make things easy. We are still going to the well and carrying water on our heads. And because it works, we stay that way until it breaks. I say this because, again, you mentioned the Eritreans. Southern Cameroonians, maybe our threshold may be a little bit more than what happened with the Eritreans, right? And remember, because of our cross culture and intermingling with La Republique Cameroon, they are also learning from us, right? There's a reason why they don't kill 5,000 people a day. There's a reason for that, because they know that if they do that again, especially what happened in previous cases, the international community eyes will turn upon them, and even we ourselves, they may have broken our threshold. So if our threshold is at 200 people a day in terms of deaths, guess what LRC has to do? They will kill 150, kill
Yeah,
180. So
that's
long
true.
as it's below that threshold,
Hmm.
life moves on. But like you once had mentioned before, Comrade Jumba Akuru, that 150 today plus 150 tomorrow plus 150 the next day, after 6, 4, 5 years, goes into 1 million very, very quickly.
It's so
So
painful,
the question
and
again we
that's
have to ask
and
ourselves.
Comrade Allen, just to interrupt you a bit there. This is why they talk. This is why that soldier, that our brother from Ground Zero, who was lamenting in the audio that I broadcast here a few days back. That's why he talked of genocide in slow motion, in such a way that you don't
Yes.
quickly recognize that this is a genocide. But he said the depth of it is unimaginable. He says it beats Rwanda. Therefore, we have already reached and are even crossing that tipping point. The more reason right now is a time for you who are watching us here, myself and Comrade Alem, reach out to your family, friends, and all and ask them, have you heard the news? Have you heard the news? Everybody, have you heard the news? There is a platform. Contribute right now. Make Ambazonia free. That is what you should be doing. We should all get into the spirit, because you see, that is the spirit that is going to take us across the finish line. Nothing else will take us across the finish line apart from this. So, Comrade Allen, I give you the opportunity to say, your very last message on this particular broadcast, because you're going to be a regular feature on this broadcast, on this platform. I'm definitely going to have the opportunity to talk on this platform to with Comrade Yerima, with Comrade Prizo, with Comrade Amos Silas of SCAF. I'm definitely going to talk with Comrade Ayaba of Egg of Sea. I'm definitely going to call in Comrade Chris Anu. I'll also call in Comrade Samuel Komesako. I want to talk to bring everyone to this platform. Let's continue to see how to push an idea that can help, because these funds that we're talking about raising are meant to address the needs of the entire struggle, not the needs of a group. Of course, we know there are already people coming after us. Comrade Alem, are you frightened that those people that have started coming after me also come after you? That you soon hear audios of people
No,
calling you Alem, Alem, Alem. How many times have I called you?
no, 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 Comrade John. Let me tell you why I don't think that's going to happen, right? You see, unlike I think that in your case, you're very vocal, and trust me, you're doing a good job. You're doing an awesome job. I must commend you on that. But I think for most of us, especially the team at DAC, we just put our heads down and work. We don't comment. We don't. Not that we don't believe in social media, right? Is that what am I going to gain from there, right? At the end of the day, when I spend one to because to amass that amount of comments on social media, I'm giving off time from something else, right? And if I'm truly putting the people of Southern Cameroons ahead of me, like that's my objective, that's my goal, I'm not going to say ignore social media. It's important. Then don't be scoping on that. But it cannot be a priority. The social media is supposed to be used as a tool, right? And in the beginning of this, what was then a conflict, it was a tool. And I think that
Exactly.
somewhere we crossed a gray area and it now became a weapon, right? So we need to go back to the point where the social media can do for us what it's meant to do and what it will do best, which is provide us with a platform to be able to talk about our problems, to be able to sell our problems, and to be able to galvanize people. I think if we can keep it to that, then the social media becomes a very, very, very powerful tool that we can recapture and restructure and use in our advantage. Back to your original question again, for those who have probably either lost faith or lost hope in trying to either support or to contribute in whatever way or shape or form. I'll leave you the example. I used to be a president of my alumni association, and there was a time that I was frustrated because we used to send money to our former alumni, and the money was not used for its purpose indeed. Now, let me rephrase that. Most of the money, yes, but a good chunk of it, I would say 30% of it roughly, was used for something else. And when I had gotten to a point where I was so frustrated, I mean, trust me, you talk about you're chairing an organization and your people are at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, like Obama said, stops with you. So if things go well, they give you the praise for it. Your team did a good job. But that also means that when things go badly, your team failed, right? I was asked this question by a former a classmate of mine. Okay, Alem, guess what? You guys send this money and 30% of the money was not allocated for what it was used for. And by the way, this was also you had to do with giving scholarships to children. But some of the money was used to give scholarship to the wrong kids, those who do not necessarily deserve the scholarship. Okay, let's bring it down to numbers. If you send money to your alumni to give scholarship for 10 children who deserve it, and you found out that the institution found a way to put in 3 children in there who do not deserve the scholarship, which means that 7 children had a scholarship and 3 did not. Are you going to just totally rule off and kill the whole program because they figure out a way to put 3 children in there that did not deserve it? Or are you going to step back and look at the overall picture and say, hey, you know what? I were able to give 7 children opportunity to go and study overseas or whatever. And 3, somehow, we still give them the opportunity, but they did not merit that opportunity. I say this because it's the option of not contributing and the option of doing nothing is not an option. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
So now the question now becomes, we have to contribute, but the question is, where do we contribute and how do we contribute and how have we learned from the past? Right? Again, that was the foundation of DAC because it was as a result of the fallout of what happened before that DAC was created. Had it been that things had gone very, very smoothly, there may never have been a DAC. So sometimes when things go dark, when it's raining today and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, my party has been ruined, my white dress is in chaos. Think about tomorrow, where because of that party being ruined or your white dress being chaos, it pushed you and motivated you to do something even better. We had a situation in DAC where a member went down to ground 1 and did some things catastrophically to people back there. And the DAC members were so upset and so agitated. It took them 1 week to raise about what, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and replace everything, replace all the computers, all the machines out of anger. If you had come to DAC previous to that issue and said, hey guys, let's go and upgrade these computers, they'll look at you like this and say, what? Their computers, they're working. What are you going to upgrade? But now that they took out the old ones and they did whatever they had to do, we were upset. We didn't like our children to remain there, and we did what we had to do to get that center back up and running. So I give that story because we don't have an option. There is no other option of not to contribute. There's no other option of not to contribute either in finances or either in our skill set, like I said. So let's put that away from the table. That's not an option for us. Let's look at what we have. The option is to contribute. The question in people's minds is where to contribute. Things have gotten very, very difficult for people. People have double jobs. People are getting laid off. The economy is not looking too good globally around the world. Let's face facts. People may not have money to support or to give as they used to once upon a time. But I think they do. Because if you tell me that the Southern Cameroon's community is impoverished, then you should not be seeing what you're seeing on Facebook in celebrations and popping of champagnes and stuff. And I'm not saying that don't do that. What I'm saying is the excuse or the reason that there's no finances for us to free our people is not true. They are the finances. The cost of, for an example, sustaining a convention or to plan and to execute a convention correctly is a lot of money. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying that if you were to tell me that, no, we don't have money to do that, we don't have money, we're poor, we're tired, that's not true. We do, and it's been proven. You just need to be able to give our people something and a reason to believe that there exists a way for them to contribute and they can go to bed and sleep, wake up the next morning and check, and whatever they contributed for, is being handled correctly. And I think
Comrade
we've achieved
Allen,
that.
I'll share this with you before I let you go. And this is from a comrade on Ground Zero. He says, I want to make this clear. And like I've always said, that we are not going to win this war, to win this liberation movement by killing all the soldiers of La République du Cameroon. We have to do something bigger than just that. Because, as I've also said here, those soldiers, they are trained to die, to know that they can die. And as they are going, La Republic is recruiting every day, and we are seeing. And they are not shy to go and die. And the comrade says, but we will win by instilling great fear on the enemy. Time has passed when we believe that Odeshe can help us. By this great fear, I bet you, my people, try this. Let like people to Cameroon get up in the morning and hear that within 1 week, Ambazonians have raised until they're getting to 1 million on that platform. Oh my goodness. The level of panic and fear that will grip Yaoundé. It even just the announcement that I made here and the reactions of the people already sent a lot of fear down the spines of La République du Cameroon to the effect where they are getting even their internal enablers up to come up to say, don't try, that will not work. That is fake. That's scammers. Those are this. This initiative will be fought. This idea will be fought tooth and nail, not by people within this liberation movement because it feels not a good thing, but by the enemy and their relays within this movement. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And Comrade Alem, I guess you have an idea what I'm talking about here. When it comes to the fact you have received a lot of feedback too, right?
Yes, yes. There've been a couple of, actually not a couple, a lot of calls coming in within the DAC community itself, and these have also even spilled over to the SCSP community as well. I'm sure you're aware of that too. You as Comrade Jamba Akuru and the consortium are also a member of that platform. And as a result of what you discussed, these discussions have now trickled into that platform as well. And we're having those discussions in terms of mobilizing and raising funds for our people. You mentioned the fact that about the fundraising being a threat, and I think that one of the you're when you walk outside, when you go out and you just open your door and you breathe fresh air, that air is free, right? I'm saying that because I'm trying to make an analogy. You need the air to breathe. The most vital thing you need, air and food and water. Well, the food you have to put in effort and work because of what Adam and Eve did. But air is free. At least that one has not been cursed, right? Think about it this way. Our strongest weapon right now is our collaboration. That is the one thing that our enemy cannot take away from us. They might be able to discourage people from giving money and talent and naysay. They can do that because we give them the wiggle room, right? But if you think about it, our coming together and our collaborative spirit cannot be killed. It's not something that you can take away, and that is the greatest fear of any suppressive regime. Any suppressive regime wakes up the next morning and finds out that the critical mass of its people have united. That is the end of the regime. It's as simple as that. It's just a matter of time. So if we know this, Comrade Brand Jumba Akro, what is preventing us from doing this? And when I look back, and that's why I said for us at DAC, we don't get ourselves intertwined with social media and all that stuff because it does us no good. Our work, our story, our history speaks for itself. There's a reason why we are still in existence after 5+ years. There's a reason why you are suggesting that we use the DAC platform as a collaborative one-pot solution to our issues. And we have global issues that span. We've discussed some of them here. There are a lot more that we can talk about down the road as well, too. Our people need help. When you look at the diaspora, there shouldn't be a fence between the diaspora and the folks on ground zero or ground one. We were once there ourselves. It's not by chance that the Cameroon government made the country so bad that many of us had to leave that country to come outside for greener pastures. It's not by chance. In those days, and you can go way back to the days of Ahijo, they were doing that and thinking that, oh my goodness, we're going to leave. We are now very well positioned in the diaspora to really give back to our community and to do well by our people. If we had all remained in that country, we will not be in that same position. So I want us all, before we go to bed tonight, those of us who are blessed to still be back at home and who are doing well, and those of us who are also blessed to be outside of the country doing well, when you go to bed tonight, just stop and think for a moment that for one reason or the other, we were all sent back home and we're all in that same community as it is right now.
Hmm.
What is our chance of survival? And when you think about that, then you realize that those of you in the diaspora, you have an obligation. It's not a by chance. It's not like, oh, I had 10 A's and I found myself here. You didn't. No, that individualism has to stop. You have an obligation as a people to help a people. Look at countries like Ghana. Ghana is not being stupid by giving an extending hand to quote unquote akatas here in the United States to come back home and invest in Ghana. It's not something that is. It's not. Trust me. There's a bigger fish at the end of the pond. Southern Cameroonians need to wake up and start looking at themselves as a people. Are there going to be some bad eggs? Yes. Expect that. Don't wake up and listen. 100% of us are not good. As a matter of fact, even maybe 80% of us are barely making it. We all have our weaknesses. We all have our issues. That's why we're all different. I'm supposed to use my strength to kind of support and to uplift my brother and sister's weakness. Now, are there some people who are going to be stubborn and dumbfounded? Yes, that is going to be true. Are there some people who are going to be thieves and rookies? Yes. Even in the United States, we have thieves and rookies. People break the banks here, the back, left, right, and center. But as a nation, the US will always stand by its people. And that's the reason why its citizens are most well respected across the world, because no matter what happens, no matter what positive or negative deeds that A, B, and C does, when it comes to the citizenship and when it comes to the respect and when it comes to the pride of being an American citizen, that comes first. The moment that Southern Cameroonians will be able to embrace that ideology, we shall be free.
Thank you very much, Comrade Allen, for your participation. And so I'm definitely going to let you go now. It's true that there's a question I asked that you responded, and the response wasn't so clear, and I want to get back to it. How soon are we saying that within a week at the maximum we should be able to have the contribution portal go live? Because when the people are gripped with the anxiety to want to do something, I think it makes a lot of sense to give them the opportunity to begin doing so immediately. How soon?
Comrade John, in my response, is that you're multitasking. I did say within a week, and I was saying that I was wishing and hoping it will be sooner, but good things come to those who wait. So yeah, it's within a week.
Okay, I will be bringing you back here in the course of the week to respond to this, but I think uh, you are committed to it, and I am convinced that within a week we should be able to have that portal. And so I know it's a great job, but I'm saying that to you before the thousands of Ambazonians are watching us right now, so that they know that Comrade Alem, despite his very busy schedule, has got to work with the with the Diaspora Ambazonian community DAC to make this happen within, within this window of 1 week, so that we can begin counting, the resources as they come in, so that we can begin giving, the remnants of the government of La République du Cameroon some serious palpitation, because a good lot of them are at the top. They don't even know where they are anymore. So we just help get them out of our territory so they can go and be dealing with their issues back in their own land. So thank you very much, Comrade Alem, for setting aside time to participate on this broadcast. I'm very elated that you were able to just get off the road for this moment to sacrifice for your people of Ambazonia, for our people of Ambazonia, for our children, for our children's children, for generations upon generations of Ambazonians to come. So have a nice evening, Comrade Alem.
Thank you, Comrade Jumba Akuru. Keep the flag flying high. And to all my Southern Cameroonians, listen, we shall do it, but we shall do it just together. I don't have to agree with your methods. I don't have to agree with your policies. I don't have to agree with your personal, personal behavior in certain things. But the one thing that I
Oh,
have to agree with, at least,
Yeah,
Was that
Comrade
you,
Alem,
Comrade John?
I'm afraid I'm not going to let you go pretty quick. There's one last question that I just come. Fortunately, you were still here, and you can take that very important question before going. Pardon my back and forth, but this is very important. I see a question from one gentleman here called Pebs. He says, DAC is not a new platform. Of course, you had said so, so this is not something new, he's saying. He said, we saw Eric Tato pushing out DAC to Ambazonians. Considering what Eric Tato has been known to be, what is the relationship between DAC and the then Eric Tato?
There is
Some
none.
people absolutely came to me and said DAC was Eric Tato's organization or part of Dimples and all whatnot. Can you be able to provide that clarification necessary for the people to know exactly how, I mean, the relation that exists between Eric Tato and DAC?
No, as of now, there is none. I think that this is something that we had hashed out and we had discussed 5+ years ago in the beginning. The question that had come up was that is DAC Eric Tato's uh, is it his thing? Like, does he own DAC? Does he run DAC? The answer is no, no. Eric is not an executive. He's not a member of DAC. Most, if not all, members of DAC have actually, especially if you're a founding member, have actually paid financially into the system. He did not. So he was involved, very, very instrumental in the creation of DAC. I must say that it was a thing that was an idea that he and another comrade, Dr. E, actually sat down and actually discussed. And to be fair and to be honest, even the putting together of members, like calling this person and calling this person and calling this person and say, hey guys, you guys get together, let's see how this can work. That was him. I'm not gonna. You see, the time has we cannot get to this point where we're trying to nibble and pick and choose and say things about people just to try and make them look bad. No, Eric was very, very instrumental in the creation of DAC in terms of putting the right pieces in place. Now, the question at hand, and this again goes to answer a lot of the other questions. Does Eric own DAC? Nope. Does Eric have a 1% say, 2% say, 3% say, 5%, 100% say in DAC? Nope. So people have come in DAC and people have gone. One day, my time will be done and I move on, or I stay in as an advisor, right? So I don't know why people have this. I think the notion, and now that you mentioned the dimples, there's also been this question about DAC financing. No, no, no. We've not given any money to Eric whatsoever. So I don't know where this is still coming from 5 years down the road.
Thank you really much, Comrade Alem. I think now you can go. You definitely can go. I know you still have a journey before you, and so safe drive. Let the Holy Spirit of God take you safely back to your destination. And I mean, now that we're talking road, I want once more to extend my heartfelt sympathy to Comrade Bo Herbert, who at this moment, this morning, I mean, his companion of 40 years, she too
40
was
years
a very
plus,
serious
yes.
resource for this liberation movement. So, Comrade Alem, drive safely, extend our regards to the family, and tell the family that Ambazonians were very proud of you for the wonderful job that you're doing. And I'd like to tell all those who are watching that Comrade Alem is one of the key architects of this beautiful studio in which I'm sitting and we are doing this broadcast. Sacrifice a lot of the time driving here to come make sure we will have good sound, we will have good images, and that all the equipment is in place. So thank you very much, Comrade Alem. Take your breath and have a safe ride home. Bye.
As we say when we're in Italy, ciao.
Okay, Comrade Alem, thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. And so, my people of Ambazonia, I'm delighted that we had the opportunity to have this conversation. And there is this contribution from someone on the ground says, Mr. Mba, accept greetings from this end. From Duwana, I heard someone asking you where money for investment should be given. Have we reached that time? I personally look at that person to be a dictator. We are still in war, and such things should be sacred. Well, That is your perspective, and you have a right to your opinion. And I hear this one says, I wish to suggest that if you can put plenty of effort in bringing all those who are selflessly willing to serve the Ambazonian people towards independence, then putting resources together to kick La Republic of Cameroon out of our country will be feasible and fast to those on ground zero. And it says, as a part of leadership that I know, the social media fighting amongst groups in the diaspora has led the common man on ground zero to be discouraged and started losing faith in the struggle. Of course, everything is being done to instill, this confidence that we're required to instill in our struggle once more. And I'll end by looking at this question that I deliberately left all the way to the end. One say, greetings once more, Comrade John. Please forgive me that I'm asking a question out of topic. Please, I wish to know if Braveheart 10 Kobo is dead. It was said so by my media prime. Listen, I've said here before, I don't get into addressing issues like this ones. Did you see the remains of 10 Kobo? Did you see La République du Cameroun parading his remains somewhere like they did with that of comrade with that of late Braveheart Ayeka, like they did with that of late Braveheart Ivor Mba, like they did with that of late Braveheart comrade Field Marshal of the BLM? No. So, what I simply want to say is always bear it in mind. I said La République du Cameroun will excel in propaganda. They will say all kinds of things because they want to break the morale and the mental of the people. At some point, they even told us that Braveheart Arike had abandoned the struggle and was living in Ghana, but we see him on the ground. Every day he's not on the front line daily. He's quiet somewhere, but doing the needful. So what I want to say is, this kind of questions, those kind of things, when they come, La République du Cameroun has its platform. And I hate to say this, but my media prime is owned by someone who is a Frankist. What I'm saying, who is a Frankist. So my media prime is a Frankist news outlet. That is Frank Emmanuel Biya, in his presidential ambition, brought together Kum, Leonard, and the others, and that these guys left and right, they appear to be neutral and all of those things. So when you have an idea who they are routing for, you will be able to understand the kind of information that will come there. It's only on my media prime that you can have someone like this one called Victor Julius Ngo come and sit down and tell blatant stupidity and go ahead to say the people of what he calls Northwest Southwest can never live together, whereas we live together, we are living together, we are fighting together. So when you listen to those kind of things, know what that kind of media outlet is. Of course, they brought someone, what I call him was Prophet Watt, who always come there to try to hit on the Ambazonian War of Freedom. So when you watch them, know them by their names and by their deeds. You will know where they stand and what they desire. So don't be surprised that is coming from Kum Leonard's platform, my media prime. And so that said, like I said earlier, I'm going to be bringing a lot of other actors internal to this liberation movement to be part of this conversation. And so I also have on the lineup Dr. Irene Alobwede, who is the leader of the Southern Cameroon's European Women. The Southern Cameroon's Women League. And Ms. Tekla Mbunwe, who is the chairlady of the Southern Cameroon's European Women's Q. And I will also be bringing Yamagi Kilo of the Takumbang. There are quite a lot of those people that will be coming to this platform so that we all continue to mobilize our people towards using the DAC platform to bring in the much needed resources to prosecute this liberation movement. Let us send fear, shock, confusion, tremor down the spines of La République du Cameroun again by simply dipping our hands into our pockets, and then we do it. Some of us are actually in the diaspora because of the Southern Cameroon's question. Not only those who came after this phase of the liberation movement started in 2016, there are thousands upon thousands that already came out here because of persecution and torture when the SCNC was created and for participating in SCNC activities. So tens of thousands of us are in the diaspora because of this liberation movement. Let's not forget it. Let's pay attention to it because it has got to end. We have got to send La République du Cameroon out of our territory and transform Ambazonia into an El Dorado and make the citizens of La République du Cameroon stand and tell themselves, we truly were responsible for retarding those people. I know. Some say that, imagine, can this happen? Oh yes. Dreams only become reality when you decide to wake up from your sleep where you were dreaming and begin to till the soil and begin to do the hard work and begin to work towards achieving that dream. It will transform from a dream to reality. And that should be what we put all our focus on at this point in time. So thank you very much, my people of Ambazonia. I want to thank all of you who signed in earlier and stayed on this platform, even as we are parting ways right now. Share and share and share the link so that as many people as possible should watch this broadcast, and let's begin to mobilize our people towards this very great moment. Until we have another opportunity to meet again and have this conversation, all I can say now is to God and to Him alone be all the glory. Until next time, ciao.